Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're all doing well and enjoying your day so far, and everything was kicking off last night. The CDL pros versus the Warzone pros, a bit of drama that's been building for a couple of weeks at this point, finally came to fruition last night with some 1v1s going down left, right and centre. Methodz did not have the greatest start, Scrappy got his trades, plenty of other 1v1s to discuss as well, but even Dashy reckons maybe gentlemen's agreements were being broken. This certainly is not the end of the story. Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy, subscribe if you are new as always, I'd greatly appreciate it. I think honestly after what I saw over the last couple of hours, we need to sub Crone in for well to manage. Oh my god, absolutely spot on Sunshine, and pre-fight the last guy as well. Crone, honestly, we need him in the scene if we want to take down the Warzone guys. But look, let's just dive straight into it. So this of course is kind of one of the key moments where a lot of COD people say, yeah, COD pros, CDL pros better than Warzone pros, because Scump went in to that kind of solo dolo, whatever it was called last year sometime, and won the 100 grand or whatever it was. Now look, in fairness, if you're going to give credit to this kind of 1v1 thing, you've got to give some weight at least to actual regular 1v1s. I think it's rather difficult to come up with a good way to actually see who's better between CDL pros and Warzone pros, just because what do you play, right? If you play a hardpoint 4v4, then obviously the CDL pros, that's their element. If you play Warzone, whatever, like then probably the Warzone guys are going to be their element. So how exactly do you come up with a good way to kind of balance between the two of them? Like just a straight up 1v1 gun skill type thing on Bacage might be a decent way of doing it. So I think it deserves some weight. Then again, it's not been a surprise that the CDL guys know that the Warzone guys can shoot straight, right? Obviously the Warzone pros can shoot straight themselves, but there's more to being, a pro and a CDL pro, like comms and teamwork and all this type of stuff, than there is just shooting straight. But look, it was a good fun regardless. We're just going to dive into it right here. So first of all, a hitch actually mentioning, just as this was going on, there will now be this Thursday a CDL versus Warzone tourney. 10 grand on the line, 4 versus 4 8 teams. So this I think is the best way to do it really, because we'll see the 1v1s here in a second, but like at the end of the day, 1v1s can be pretty damn random. There's a lot of things going on. I think 4v4 kind of puts it to a point where it should be pretty even. It's actually going to be on Modern Warfare as well, which I think is rather exciting given the new game coming out. And they're going to do hardpoint on map 1 and 3, search and destroy map 5, and then outside of that they're going to do 2v2 odd man Caldera. So I know people have been talking about the formats here, whether this is fair or not, whether it's biased towards the CDL guys or the other way around. I don't really know. I think search and destroy should be a pretty even decider, you would think, but and then of course it's on Modern Warfare a couple of years ago, so in theory the pros, yes, and they've never even really played 4v4 in this game, so it might level the playing field to some degree in the hardpoints, for example, because the pros never played 4v4 on these maps back in the day, because it was 5v5 competitive gameplay back in Modern Warfare, and also they haven't played the game in quite some time, so maybe that makes things a bit fairer. I don't really know what you guys think, but it's exciting nonetheless. So anyway, last night Biffle, who's one of the top prospect really players from the Warzone side, decided to set up a 1v1 against Methodz, right? So the 1v1 went down between Methodz and Biffle, and obviously everyone was getting into this, right? Wow, CDL versus Warzone, Methodz, he's going to win this one, he's going to prove that the CDL players are better than the Warzone guys. Didn't exactly go to plan. Game 1, in fairness, with an SMG, I'm pretty sure Methodz did manage to take him down here, to take the 1-0 advantage, and then I believe it went to a game 2 on domes. They played the smaller maps, look, honestly, what a mess Vanguard is, but in fairness, right, a lot of these Warzone guys, they don't really, the engine is very similar between Vanguard and Warzone, right? Pretty much the movement is the same and stuff, but in fairness, right, it's not a game that they play all that often, so pretty impressed by them coming over and doing a decent job here. And even a Slasher says in the chat here, hello chat, CDL here, get aBeZy in now. So look, the fact of the matter is aBeZy, a new teammate for Slasher, is not going to willingly come in and play Call of Duty Vanguard ever again for his entire life, I imagine, so probably that's not going to work, but other pros might be involved, and that maybe aBeZy gets involved in the 4 versus 4 tournament that Hitch is running in a few days. Now, when it comes down to the AR battle, this is where you'd think the Zinni would close this one out, but as it turns out, Biffle just destroys him 30-20, and in fairness, there's all host, right? It's like, okay, you play on one player's host, you play on the other player's host, there should be an advantage to be had in that sense. So it's not always going to be a fair battle, but it's pretty interesting regardless, and then Zing gets taken down game 3, history has been made, an absolute disaster for the CDL pros to start out the session of 1v1s when Biffle takes down Methodz in the 1v1 best of 3, so Zin was getting kind of roasted as a result of this, right, and maybe understandably so, a Methodz just saying, this guy was just cheating, right, the ping differential, it wasn't ideal for him, so obviously the excuses were coming through left, right and centre, and everyone was memeing about, Methodz, time to drop him, get him out of Boston, this guy's terrible, get Clay in, even just get Biffle in as they are, might be the way to go instead. And then of course Aydan is going to come in, because he's been kind of trolling about this and going back and forth the last few days, Diaz Biffle beat Methodz in a 1v1 of pure gun skill. So of course the CDL pros aren't just going to sit back and be like, okay, yeah, fair enough, you get this victory. We're going to try and get some other players in. Even Scrap said, Zin let us down, and that's their thing. Like, you know, CDL power reckons, will the CDL ever live this one down? Of course, they wouldn't have done if we didn't have some substitutes to come into the fray. And even Swagger's coming in, you know, Boy Biff is different, could be in the CDL, no question. So that's the thing, people actually have said this guy, like, you know, he's a very talented player. Like, I think some of these guys are talented enough that they could make the switch to CDL, but there's just so much more to learn about being a CDL pro than I'm sure a lot of these, I think it would take a long time for these guys to learn everything about what it takes. And if you haven't really been in their, you know, kind of a competitive Call of Duty ecosystem in that side of things, playing Respawn and Search and Destroy for many years, there might be a long adaptation period. But obviously they can shoot straight, right? I don't think anyone really questions that. And even as Methodz says, 80 ping, absolute cheese. So, I mean, yeah, reckoning that really the ping differential was putting Methodz at a serious disadvantage. So was it excuses? Was it valid? I suppose you guys can make your mind up in the comment section below. Even Crow tweets out this: mission failed, we'll get him next time. The 1-0 advantage. The reverse sweep from Biffle comes through. Methodz goes down. Tough scenes. And even J-Cat was kind of, I mean, so look, some people are going to defend Zinni here, and as he says, it's almost like it's close when it comes to raw talent, and connection plays a huge factor, right? So, I mean, yeah, there was some defense, there was some thoughts on this going either way. Then, though, of course, well, the COD pros, the CDL pros decided to get their revenge. So Aydan played a 1v1 against Zuma and got taken down. Pretty impressive stuff from Zuma. You can't lie, right? This guy's been retired for quite some time, of course, due to the thumb injury he had. Comes in against Aydan, smokes him, honestly, without too much competition, in fairness. This was especially impressive because Aydan, as time progressed, went on to look better and better and actually played Sib in the final 1v1 of the day and took him down relatively comfortable, admittedly on Bakaj, like where Aydan seems to be finding most of his comfort zone. But yeah, Aydan has been considered for quite some time one of the best, if not the best, like Warzone player in the world. Like I'm sure there's others in the conversation nowadays, but I remember like Aydan from even the Fortnite days was right up there, considered one of the top guys, and I'm sure that still carries through to a certain extent. But Zuma comes in and takes him down, so revenge is sweet to a certain degree. And then Scrappy comes in, right? So I think there was also another 1v1 going on with, like, I think a Saudi Arabian player who wanted to get on the action, and I think he was offering chals for, I think often these Saudi Arabian guys come in and they offer like 3k or something. It's like, hey, we'll just play on like both of our hosts and add up the numbers effectively, because obviously if you're playing on his host, you're going to be on 200 ping, but if he's playing on your host, you should be on a similar ping, so it should even out theoretically. Whoever gets more kills total over the two maps is the way to go. Now I think Scrappy comes in and takes down Aydan as well, and then he plays this other kind of bonus match against this guy, because I think that Sib or even Dashy were meant to play against this Saudi Arabian guy, but they didn't really want to because they hadn't picked up the controller in quite some time, right? So Scrappy was like, yeah, well, I'll do it myself. And he comes in, he's talking trash. Like, I mean, yeah, man, I cannot wait for Scrappy to be in the league. It's going to be so funny. This guy is not afraid to chow like anyone or anything. Like, doesn't matter the situation, this guy is always ready for the smoke. You got to respect it. So like, I mean, yeah, he's going to come at anyone next season when he's on Ultra. That's the thing also with Ultra making that move, dropping Cammy, which is rather questionable in fairness, given Cammy's ceiling, but I feel like they knew that like they've got to give Scrappy a go this year, right? And it makes sense for him to be in that flex role, really, and therefore you've got to drop Cammy. That's just how it is. So Scrappy was, of course, undeniable for this Ultra team. They decided to drop Cammy to make that happen. Like, I can't really blame them for doing it, right? And even as Illy says, you're looking kind of cracked out there. Even I believe Dashy replied and said, you just might be insane, because like well, the players that Scrappy beat, of course, wasn't so easy for some other players that went on in the league, because the final game of the day was Aydan versus Sib. And I was actually watching this one. I woke up just in time to watch the start of this, especially because of course the whole Sib versus Aydan drama from a few days ago, when this was initially kicking off, and Aydan says, you know, I would gun you and all this type of stuff, and Sib was like, yeah, no chance or whatever. I would send you back to Warzone though, disrespectfully, of course. And I'll share a couple of clips from this in a second for you guys. But yeah, I thought this was funny really, because Sib actually started off game one here, and he started off like 3-0. He was smoking Aydan, and like and then he was almost trying to like disrespect him, because he was pulling the pistol out and trying to kill him with the rat and stuff. And then Aydan just came back, actually looked really good. And I don't know if Sib got a bit shook or something. He lost the game one and then lost the game two as well. Now, in fairness, he's going to say, yeah, well, you know, I'm not really an SMG player. And also, like, you know, it's not really, he wasn't warmed up, whatever, because he hasn't touched a controller in weeks, all this type of stuff. But I will share a couple of clips here, because there was honestly that going on. But also there was some discussions over the top by Dashy and the like, saying, well, you know what, Aydan's probably using auto tac sprints, which is technically gentleman's agreemented.
Having more controls than champs, you know what I'm saying?
No, that's a valid excuse. Extremely valid.
Oh my god, that spot's crazy.
Aydan's got a G8 attachment, I think, no cap.
Oh my god, bro.
Yo.
Hey, my heart's kind of racing.
I got recoil booster on.
Yeah, he's freaking G8.
Recoil booster.
Oh my god, bro. This guy's twisted, bro. Oh my.
Give me a
Nah, he's twisted. Nah, he's twisted right now. Nah, he's
Oh
twisted right now. He's twisted. He's actually twisted. Nah, he's moving. Nah, he's moving. He's actually moving right now.
MP40, the diamond's insane.
Nah. What kind of camo is this? How do you get this? Nah, hi Bruce. How do you unlock that camo?
Tommy, wait, I think this camo's G8.
How do you unlock that camo? That camo's not allowed. That camo's a we G8 it. We G8 that.
Yeah, I think we just.
Nah, we G8 that. This is cheese, bro.
Wait, nah, bro, what? This is not, we don't count these, bro.
Nah, see, this is not.
Wait, I'm off to you. Keep your head up, though, Dante. It's all good, baby. We got it back.
I'm not tripping.
Keep
GGs, boys,
your head up.
GGs.
It's my bro, first time picking up a choice in the chat, bro.
I don't want to be that guy. It is entertaining to watch, but 1v1 hardpoint radar isn't like, you know.
It's fugazi.
It's a little fugazi.
So what do you guys think about this on the whole, right? It was an entertaining affair, there's no doubt. And again, tough seeds for the CDL pros because we even got scoreboarded right here, right? You know, when someone's putting a scoreboard up, it's never a good look. And yeah, in fairness, 30-27, Simp probably feels like he should have already won that game. Game 2, honestly, wasn't particularly close. And yeah, Simp says, he comes out with, look, I hopped on for the first time since champs, getting wall banged cheese. We got to run it back for sure. So they're ready to run it back at some point or another. Of course, this 4v4 tournament is seemingly coming up relatively soon, and these were the kind of final scores on the doors. So Zuma, I'm pretty sure, just played that one map against Aydan, took him down 1-0. Biffle took down Methodz, 2-1. So on the night, it was pretty much an even affair between the CDL and the Warzone guys, but Scrappy was just undefeated. This guy didn't lose a map on the day, so Scrappy might be the guy that we need to get to sub in. I remember back in the day, actually, this is a slightly different scenario, but I think it was Black Ops 3 when Cellium was first making his name on the scene, and this guy, what he would do is he would ask pro players just to 1v1 challenge. So at this point, Cellium was nowhere near the pro scene. Like, he was, search and destroy style, still young kids, wasn't even able to, not old enough to even compete at that point back in 2015. What Cellium would do is he would ask pro players to 1v1 them for I don't know how much money. Just he would do a straight up 1v1 hardpoint. And I remember watching like Machilla's stream and some other pros stream, and they would just lose to Cellium and get smoked. It wasn't even particularly close. And what they would do is they would try and call up Formal and be like, yo, Formal, can we just take this kid down to just prove that like this kid isn't really it? And I don't know if Formal ever actually played him in a 1v1, but that was the ultimate thing. They would just call up Formal and try, can we take this kid down, please? So apparently Scrappy is that guy for the Warzone 1v1 type situation. Pred actually, I think, is back in Australia now, so he was trying to get ready to go here, but unfortunately, it's not really going to work. He's not even back in the US. He was said, yeah, I'm going to get on a flight and fly out there to North America again so I can take these guys down. But yeah, that's the thing. 4v4, maybe that's going to come in the coming days. And even as Chino says, right, get warmed up, bro, aBeZy, we might need to tag you in. So look, we'll see how this one goes. As I've said, right, it's generally rather difficult to come up with a good way to kind of battle between the two types of pro player, because the Warzone guys obviously can shoot straight. We full well know that. The 1v1, it can be a way to do it, but there's so many random things with the 1v1s already. The radar is on. Like, it's a bit cheese, let's be honest here. Like, it's not really the best way to determine who's the best player. So I think the best way to really do it is to get in a 4v4 type setting. And, obviously, if you get into a CDL hardpoint game, the pros know, like, the CDL pros should know much better what the rotations are, how to set up on certain hardpoints. Like, they should be better attuned to that mode. But of course, if we go into Modern Warfare for it, it kind of levels the playing fields maybe to a certain degree. And obviously, if the guys then play Warzone, then it should be the Warzone pros kind of more in their comfort zone, where they understand where to drop and the rotations and what to use and what the meta is in this type of stuff as well. Even if the gun skill is pretty similar, maybe it's tough to say. But certain pros, like, if we get a guy like Scrappy in, I feel like he's not going to lose these type of 1v1s. And also, did Dashy have a point about the whole gentleman's agreements being broken and stuff, and that's why the CDL pros went down? Or was it just excuses for the boys and, we'll get them next time? But very much intrigued to your thoughts on all this in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you were new as always. Take care, and I'll see you next time.